More and more. Tender loving care comes from deep within. You carry it about in a bag made of skin. Wherever you go, hope is, it is spread, and never thin. Deep within, it is carried to where needed most, in that personal bag made of skin. Skin holds us together in one piece, wherever we go. We always have with us all the elements we need. Now it depends on the seed we sow. Example is our seed, sowed in all who share. Deep within it grows, spreading more and more tender, loving care. Bernie. My son John, with his wife Kathleen, live in San Diego, California. It was back around the turn of the century, probably before the year 2000. Evelyn and I flew to see them instead of driving with our trailer, which we have done twice through the years. When they picked us up at the airport, late morning, they explained that it was the day the tall ships were arriving in San Diego Harbor, old-fashioned seagoing sailing ships, and wanted to treat us to the sight. They knew of a restaurant with a view of the piers the ships would be using to tie up. We drove directly to Tom Ham's restaurant. I believe we arrived about 11:45, and John swung up to Circle Drive and stopped at the front door to let Kathleen out to go in to get our name on the list for seating. She said she pushed past a crowd of people to get to the hostess stand and told us when she returned they were not taking names. They were seating only those with reservations. Disappointedly, John drove away from the door. He and Kathleen were chatting back and forth while we drove back out to the far end of the parking lot and stopped. They had a cell phone at that time, so Kathleen got the phone number for Tom Ham's, called and asked for a reservation for lunch. She was told they were about full but could fit in a table for 4. John completed the drive through the parking lot, stopped in the Circle Drive at the front door again. Kathleen, Evelyn, and I hopped out and went in. John parked the car and came in about the time the concierge said, "Follow me, please." We got to the place where a worker had just set down a table he carried in, laid on a tablecloth, and set the table for 4. We had a perfect unobstructed view of the port through the large windows facing the piers, which were inside the breakwater. We watched for a couple hours those tall ships entering so slowly, with most all the sails down and bare mast, black against the bright background, reaching to the sky. There were several 3-mast ships and a couple with 4 masts, as they crept so very slowly up to the pier and tied down. It was an unforgettable sight, and all because of ingenuity, quick thinking, and fast action by John and Kathleen. We saw it all because we had reservations. Bernie. Gilded in Gold. Kindness may be seen over and over, but a virtue important as that never gets old. Gentle kindness, looked for and craved, is welcome everywhere we go. Cradled in love when bestowed is a joy to see unfold. It is different. It shines and sparkles, visible as can be. Now at a glance all can see. It is kindness gilded in gold. Bernie. Angel dust. An angel came from heaven. Her name is Evelyn. We met and married in midlife. She led and inspired me the rest of her life. She was example of forgiveness, compassion, kindness, and love. In my writing and in my life, much of what I became was with Evelyn at my side, or because of her, after where she died. And unto dust thou shalt return. When an angel from earth dies, wouldn't that dust be angel dust? Ideas, thoughts, and memories, I believe, come to me from angel dust, scattered in my life by the angel sent from above. Angel dust, though never seen, is effective just the same, put there quietly in our mind. Evelyn, you're welcome anytime. Come, please, and spread angel dust for we and our kind. Bernie. Stillness. Silence is the wellspring of all there is. From silence comes sound. From darkness comes light. From stillness comes movement. From nothing, everything. Meditation is a pathway along which we can travel to reach the great emptiness. In this emptiness, stress dissolves, thoughts become still, and emotions subside. Here in the vast stillness lies the creative potential for new life and energy to arise. Bernie. His way. Evelyn and I married when she was 45 and I 51. With her 3 children married and out of the house, she moved in with me and the last of my 10 children. When we both retired, we traveled with a small travel trailer. We were able to visit all our children more than once that lived far away: Florida, Missouri, Chicago, Wichita, Denver, and San Diego. We saw things far and wide across our nation. We walked on soil at all 4 corners of the U.S. We traveled at our own pace, seldom making reservations. There were landmarks we set as destinations, like the Empire State Building, the Statue of Liberty, the Grand Canyon, and Grand Marais. When we came upon something we found interesting, be it historical, educational, or simple beauty, we stopped along the way, explored, and drank it in. It was our way. Now, at age 79 and 85, we look back at our lives as we head toward the end of our big and interesting show and come closer to facing the final curtain. I'd like to improvise a writing and a song, Frank Sinatra's My Way, that say how we feel about it all. When we met and got to know each other, we found we each had a favorite Bible verse we knew by memory, and when one of us started to say it, the other chimed right in. It was our first prayer together. The 23rd Psalm was the start and the anchor to our deepening relationship. Both believing the Lord is our shepherd, therefore we have a leader who will care for us, and as he does his sheep, and we shall not want. He will lead us on the path that is right for us, and guide us to green pastures to rest our bodies, and beside still waters to replenish our spirit. Though we have trials and problems in the shadows of the dark valley, we need not fear the evil, knowing he will lead us with his staff to righteousness. Surely his goodness, love, and mercy will follow us and give us strength all the days of our life. Engraved inside her wedding band is Psalm 23, and inside mine, her favorite hymn for hope and trust, Be Not Afraid, words to set us free. We loved and laughed and cried. We had joy to the brim, also our share of losing. Now as tears subside, we find it amusing to think we had all that. We thank you, Lord, and say, we did it your way. Regrets, we had a few, but then too few to mention. We did what we had to do, We saw it through without exception. There were times we knew what we bit off was tough to chew. We faced it all, and now stand tall. We followed him and did it his way. Now the end is near, and so we face the final curtain. Dear friends, we say it clear and state our case of which we are certain. We lived life to the full and traveled many a highway. But more, much more than this, we did it his way. Bernie. Life sometimes made me feel like I was in a cement mixer or in the midst of a snowstorm with strong winds pushing in the midst of turmoil and pressure to make decisions when I couldn't move my feet or arms while tumbling in the thick mixture, or trying to make a decision while the wind was blowing one way so hard and with icy cold snow I couldn't look up or around to find the direction to go, nor did I have time to wait. A wise philosopher once said, which I relate to and wrote down so I would have it right, life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass, it's about learning to dance in the rain. And so I did. Now I look back on my life from this vantage point and see it like looking through a telescope backwards. Everything looks very small and insignificant, when at the time they were happening, they were big, seeing them through the telescope the way it was designed. Seeing life backwards through that scope, it is difficult to pick out one significant incident where I can now say I wish I had done this or that differently. And if I could, how would I know today that it would have turned out better than what it did? So I am satisfied. I did the best I could with what I knew. I am okay just as I am. The Lord led me through valleys with dark shadows and brought me to green pastures beside still waters, where now I dwell in peace with gratitude. Bernie.